I studied law, finished all the 4 years, and then I refused to graduate.
How?
You know, when you just have a calling and you're constantly driven to that. I had been told enough times that I don't belong there. So I was like, Musaga, I don't know.
Now, everyone knows you as Mama Kambala.
Yes.
How do you enter radio?
Nachikubye nnyo, bali ne bagamba. Janguwa. I'm not very big on proving to people that I've done something. So if I don't have the paper, it's not going to hurt me. Ugandans. Sarcasm is a thing. You were also mad? Tell me why you were mad.
Yeah. How much does she earn? Who is this person? Who are you dating that is going to live that 1 million every week?
I tell the way Ugandan men like crying. I am the provider. I am the provider. Provide, ne? We've created an understanding for people who bring a lot to the table. Because in Uganda, we are a bit forgiving to people who don't shower. If you're very good,
Pretend we don't smell it.
we'll pretend we don't smell it, which is unkind to you, honestly.
Hi, welcome back to Gather Now Network. Thank you for listening in. Thank you for watching us. If you haven't, subscribe. Today we have a guest. She's a lawyer, a media personality, a poet, an actress, and somewhere she's a dancer. We all know her. She took the internet by storm when she said Kameza money. What is Kameza in English? Daily
Upkeep.
daily house upkeep table money should be 1 million, like 1 million. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have Maritza.
Oh, it's me.
Hi,
Thank you for
Maritza.
having me.
We're glad to have you.
You're so soft-spoken. You're scaring me. At some point, I might embarrass my ancestors, talking like we are at a fireplace, sipping and tudide, you know? Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be hosted by a fellow poet, spoken word artist. It feels nice, feels like home. And yeah, thank you for inviting me.
We're happy to have you because we know you're the right person to answer some of the questions we have.
So, clarification. I studied law, finished all the 4 years, and then I refused to graduate. Like, I actually refused to graduate after I had reached the end of the road.
Why? This
Well,
thing.
Honestly, so what happened is my first dissertation was about copyrights.
And we have questions about copyright.
And in 2012, when I started my dissertation, it was a very shaky subject, even for the lawyers that were teaching us. I don't think they were equipped to help us through it. So I finished my dissertation, I handed it in, the entire thing is rejected. And it was on copyrights in theater arts. I was literally doing research on how, this is not MOOC, this is Cavendish University. I was doing research on how copyrights in theater arts are actually protecting artists' rights and artists' work. They rejected the whole dissertation.
Like the topic I chosen for you and you put it.
No, I picked it for myself.
And
but it was approved, like after the proposal, it was approved. So after I did research, what happened is there was a lot of inconsistencies, I think, in the law. There were many things during research that didn't help me get good marks. So they rejected the whole dissertation. So me, I was like, yeah.
I'm not doing this again.
I'm not doing it again. Me, I've finished. So yeah, but the only reason I could do that is because I knew I had done my part and the universe said no. And me, I had another path to go to.
Don't you regret it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because the point of school is education. I got the education I needed. I got the experience I needed. I even have like a certificate from the Uganda Law Society, the Students' Law Society. Like I did my part. I was fully involved in being or learning or studying to be a lawyer. And I knew it wasn't my path. So it's hard to regret it when I gave it my all and when it has still supported me in the actual path that I'm on. Like many of my contracts, like you can ask the people I've worked for, Toka is it won't pass. Nitty gritties, like we iron out everything. You're not going to hire me on foolishness. Like at least that's how it helps. So I don't regret it, but I'm glad I still fall, in the conversation of she studied law.
It's nice to have. Do you still stand that Kameza money should be 1 million?
First of all, I was being sarcastic. Ugandans.
We were mad.
Sarcasm is a thing. Yeah, it's real. You should explore it.
Mad.
Hey, people were mad. You were also mad? Tell me why you were mad. I want to hear from you because I haven't had this side of the story.
For me, it was really, really fun. And I'm like, how much does she earn? Who is this person? Who are you dating that is going to live that 1 million every week?
So you see, first of all, let's understand that when couples come together, there's one who is less than the other more often than not. I tell the way Ugandan men like crying, I am the provider, I am the provider. Provide, ne? Provide. So I get it. I get that, people are like, she doesn't make that much money. Why would she demand that? First of all, I want to encourage people to think outside of their limits or their thought of limits. Because as someone earning 5,000 shillings monthly, I will confidently date a millionaire and still have my standards. If my standard is 1 million kameza, that's what I encourage people to do. Like, don't think within your limitations. The world, God is here to provide for you outside of your limitations.
How much do you think?
Kameza money. So the reason I was being sarcastic is because I don't believe in kameza money. I think if you're leaving kameza money for your wife, and first of all, I thought kameza money was only for housewives. Apparently, it's for everyone.
No, it's daily.
It's daily upkeep.
There are things that miss.
Exactly. So now, my perception was, if you have to leave money daily, it means you're not planning for your family. When your money comes in, it means your wife is not part of your budget. When your money comes in, it means that when your money comes, you'll take care of school fees, you'll take care of everything, and forget that there's someone in the house that's not working.
And they want emancipation.
So what does emancipation mean? Emancipation does not mean financial abuse. I can be emancipated and still be a housewife. Emancipation is the ability to make decisions
even if you're not a housewife.
For yourself as a woman. Auntie, I'm saying, but now I'm talking about the housewives who don't get budgeted for.
Yeah.
Now you have, now the ones who are working, right? Why don't you bring your money together at the end of the month? Then every week this is what we're doing. So for me, that's my perception of kameza. I'm like, why do you need kameza if you're budgeting for your people? Which means you people are not budgeting for your people. Then I realized most people live on daily income.
Yeah.
So kameza is necessary.
Even if you don't live on daily, there are things that are hard to get. And money, like when you said the highest causes of fights, domestic violence are money, discussions of money. So it's hard for partners to come and discuss money. But today we're not here to discuss marriage. We're here to discuss creativity.
Why? Talk about money, please.
Money is a hard conversation.
Why is it? Because this is what my understanding of relationships are. We are here to support each other through the needs that we have in life and through the wants, right? Priority is needs. Unfortunately, the center of those needs is money.
Do you know relationships get more complicated the longer you live together?
Yes. And if you don't start having those conversations earlier, that's why they get more complicated.
There's no guarantee. Let me tell you. Even if you go to school at 3, when you're 3 years old and say, she started early, she was young. If you're dumb, you'll still be dumb. If you start at 5, it is.
Do you know why? Because also students learn differently. You see, the thing that we're failing to do, I feel, as human beings, is understanding the situation and treating the situation. We have one formula for everything. There's students who learn differently, and then again, relationships. There's people who handle things differently. So in your relationship, when you figure out that money is an uncomfortable topic, invite a third party. Or when you figure out one person in the relationship doesn't want to have money talks, find a way around it. Maybe create a joint account where you both put money and then you never have to talk about. There's many solutions for the many problems. And I want people to solve their problems. Just solve them.
This conversation about money. Let us keep that conversation for when we have her next, because I have so much to add on. I have so many questions to ask about money. But today we are here to talk creativity, inspiration. She's a poet, and there are so many questions we have about creatives. Everyone today in Uganda is a creative.
Yeah.
First of all, you did law and then went into poetry. Who influenced you? Who was your role model to do poetry?
Myself.
How?
So here's what happened. Growing up, I knew I wanted to do theater arts. And I always knew that. I'm a theater arts lover. What I didn't know was how I would exist in the space. You know, when you just have a calling and you're constantly driven to that. So that's how I ended up dancing. Even in high school, that's how I was acting, because I was trying to find my space in theater arts. And then while I'm on campus, so my break between high school and campus was very short. So I didn't have enough time to explore those options. It's like high school ended, 2 months later, I'm in university.
How?
I did international baccalaureate diploma. We finish in May. I started, so it's a high school diploma. It's called international baccalaureate. So the way it's set up is it's supposed to prepare you for university. In that, we actually even have like a dissertation. Like that's how we finish high school, like that.
Wait, what do they call it? Cambridge?
Now it's our, so I did IGCSE, S1 to S4. So for A level, I didn't do Cambridge. That's when I did IB diploma. So it's kind of different from Cambridge. I think it's one of those curriculums that were really created for UN kids because of the traveling around the world. So if you move from Shanghai to like Uganda, you can still be part of the program and carry it on or whatever. I'm assuming because the way it's set up is like that.
For planned people.
For planned people, you know? So I did that diploma, and right after the diploma, if you finish your diploma in May, get your results in June, really by September, schools are opening.
Yeah.
Parents are like, why don't you go? You want to sit and wait for next year, September?
So you started long.
So I started immediately. So because I didn't have that time, I didn't really explore after high school, you know, which part of theater arts to get into.
If you wanted theater arts, then why did you go into law?
Because pressure.
Family.
Pressure. Yeah. Actually, while I was on break from high school, I was interning at a law firm. Already they had entered me. I like future lawyer of the family, let's go. So I was already on that part. So while I'm in school, I'm, you know, doing a lot of writing. I wasn't even writing poetry that much. I was just writing stories because I'm a storyteller. I'm writing a lot of stories, and then I find spoken word. I discover Marshall Soulful Jones, the man who wrote Spelling Father and many other beautiful poems. And I was like, wait, this guy is doing storytelling the way I would do it. Like katemba, you know, with like cadence that's like crazy, or, you know, punchlines. I'm like, it's not rap, yes, because, you know, I love rap, but I know I'm not a rapper, but it's storytelling and it's poetry. You guys, I found love.
I didn't know that there was poetry, that poetry was a thing in Uganda.
Are you serious?
It sounds like something in the Shakespearean ages.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a real thing, like fireplace. So I knew about fireplace storytelling because it's very cultural, like from where I come from. It's something that they do a lot. But then I wasn't sure that theater arts had that platform for us. And then I discover this man, and then I find many other people, Rudy Francisco, Alicia Harris, like Sarah Kay, like all these people that were really just killing it and actually making a killing. I was like, hey, we're going to make money, so let's start. So 2012, which was my last year of university, 2012, just yesterday, I'm very young. So 2012, I decided to start. And I remember the date. It was May 31st. I went for Kwivuga. I begged to be on that stage. I begged. And then after the main act had performed, these guys were still not putting me on. I stood at the door. I was like, you shall put me on stage today. Meanwhile, I'd, watched all this poetry, rehearsed a lot of it because I couldn't write. So I was going to perform someone else's work. So I performed Spelling Father at Kwivuga. And people who were outside came in. I was literally on stage the whole time, watching drunkards reduce their noise, watching people who were outside come in. Then it got to my head. I was like, Tuchikuba, let's go. I increased energy. I killed that performance. There's people who know me who were there that night that are like, I don't think we've ever seen you perform like that. But then the reason is I was fighting for my life. So
you wanted to make an impression.
I wanted to, because
I'm here.
yeah, like I had been told enough times that I don't belong there. So I was like, Musaga, you don't know. In subtle ways, in subtle ways. Like, because I think before I got to perform, I'd been attending poetry events for maybe 3 or 4 months and not getting a chance on stage. And then I performed and I realized this is my existence in the passion that I feel for theater arts, for performance, for, commanding a stage, even like stage presence. Like I learned that with spoken word. So I was like, yeah, this is how I'm going to exist in theater arts. So immediately I start hosting the open mic monthly shows. I start, engaging with other poets. I actually entered the thing properly. So
and you took it up.
I took it up. I was like, yeah, this is me. So when my university was here wasting my time, when I'm trying to solve future problems, copyrights in theater arts, I was like, you know what? It's okay.
Let me enter the arts.
Let me enter the arts. Because the way I perceive school is I'm not very big on proving to people that I've done something. Yeah. So if I don't have the paper, it's not going to hurt me. It's, do I have the knowledge? Do I know what to do in these situations?
Because some of us have the value scale.
And then what are they doing?
You've talked about being rejected indirectly on the stages a couple of times before you give it stage. Do you think the industry has changed now? Do the young youths who want to try and start poetry have it easier now?
I can't speak for them, but I want to say it's better than it was for us. Because for us, without platforms like Open Mic or even Poetry in Session, when it came to the stages where we were venturing out of the spoken word audience, so I'm talking stages like Kwivuga, because Kwivuga had a different audience from the standard poetry audiences, There's people who would go for Kwivuga every Kwivuga, but you'll never see them at Lantern Meet, you'll never see them at Open Mic, you'll never see them at Poetry in Session, you'll never see them at Tontoma, like they are just for that audience. So like we had places where spoken word was existing. I remember even a time I performed at Jazzville during band night. So there's places where spoken word could exist, but we didn't know how to get in. That was our problem then. Now, I feel like the problems are supported by excuses.
Yeah.
Because now the opportunities are more, more people want youthful existence in these spaces. I know Mark Gordon is constantly going out of his way to find young people and train them.
Mark Gordon, so I didn't have a hard time at all.
Imagine. Bless you so much.
So I was shocked to saying they rejected you and making you feel like you're less of it.
They didn't know.
They didn't know who you were.
They didn't know.
Now, everyone knows you as Mama Kampala.
Yes.
How do you enter radio? You say now you wanted theater arts, you're into poetry. How do you enter radio?
Poetry.
Because I knew you by radio.
Poetry got me on radio. Of Nachkubye nnyo bali ne bagamba jangu
voice needs to be on radio.
Pretty much, that's really what happened. Because when I was working for Open Mic at the time, I was also the PR for Open Mic.
Yeah.
So I had to do a lot of radio interviews. The only interviews I hadn't gotten a chance to do yet were TV interviews. But I was doing radio interviews a lot. So every time I did an interview, the presenter would say, but why don't you do radio? You have the voice, you have the energy, you look good, you can be a celeb. Yeah. You liked me in the morning. That makes me feel so good.
I like the voice, and I knew Kampala. Are you into fashion at any point?
It's complicated.
Because whenever you come out, you don't look like you're into fashion.
I mean, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
I'm an artist. So the reason I can't say I'm into fashion is because I haven't intentionally invested in fashion. But because I'm an artist, I have a particular image of the way I want to present myself. So the presentation doesn't stop at the voice. It stops at, it goes beyond that. It goes how I wear my face, my makeup, how I dress, the accessories that I accessorize, even on my feet, I'm a noise maker. So things like that. So I wouldn't say I'm into fashion, but the truth is I use fashion to support my presentation as a spoken word artist.
To support your brand.
Exactly, to support my brand.
Talking about that, what is with creatives and self-care?
Self-care.
There is a way, you can see someone and you're like, that one is she's too smart. She's not going to be a creative. What is with creatives and self-care?
That's how I feel about you. Every time I see you, I'm like, she doesn't know how to be a creative.
Like, I was talking to someone and I'm showing them someone. I'm like, that is a creative Zen. I'm showing them Zen and Akanwaj, and they're like,
love Zen.
That one, like, no, that one is pretty. She has done makeup. She looks good.
She looks corporate, actually.
What is with creatives and self-care? What hinders them from taking care of themselves, looking good?
I think it has a lot to do with not having to prove anything to anyone, really. And it's complicated because creatives actually depend on public opinion. But the truth is, there's a certain group of creatives where I don't owe you an explanation for showering. I don't owe you an explanation for repeating my socks the 500th time. Kumbe, I'm going to a studio where we have to take off our shoes several times. You know, like they to some extent, and that's a couple of the ones who don't take care of themselves. They don't feel they owe anyone an explanation. So I think it's just something that needs to be taught because it's not obvious. And usually creatives aren't organized people. I don't think they are meant to be. I genuinely don't believe that creatives are meant to be organized. I believe that creation comes from a place of chaos. And what we can do, actually what we do as human beings, is zero down to the best parts of that chaos and create that. That's how fashion comes up. That's how, even like words and the stories that we tell and the descriptive language that we tell, because we are trying to make something larger than life, right? We're trying to
limit you.
I don't think so.
I'm thinking if you're going beyond, let me say you're creative in Kampala, you're a poet in Kampala, and your poems are good, your poetry is good, but you want to go beyond. Aren't there people who are not going to hire you because of how you look? When you come out, you don't smell good, you look unkempt. Doesn't it limit your growth as a creative?
I want to say it does, but my experience in the industry is, by the way, we are still paying people who don't shower. So I wouldn't say it hinders you because we've created an understanding for people who bring a lot to the table that we forgive them for certain shortcomings. But here's my advice to that creative, because we're all built different. There's creatives who are very super clean. Like my brother shocks me. My brother is a natty dreadlock guy. He's like, he's someone you would expect to be unkempt, someone who doesn't shower. This boy is like, he has a tone of cleanness that I don't understand, and he's a creative, he's a photographer, he's an artist. He's not okay. Like, he's one of the most put together creatives that I know. And for me, it makes me proud because then the realization is there are many ways to be a creative. Right? Dave Shutter, Dave KLA, keep it up, man. Keep it up. So I would say hire people to help you, because as creatives, we know how to hire where we lack.
Yeah.
So we need to understand that hygiene is a place where I lack. How can I get people to help me in this regard? You hire a stylist. Stylist is not going to let you try on his clothes and go unya. You hire a personal assistant, and this is for people who are going beyond, Uganda, because in Uganda we are a bit forgiving to people who don't shower. If you're very good, we might forgive you.
We'll pretend we don't smell it.
We'll pretend we don't smell it, which is unkind to you, honestly. But there's a way around it. I just want to encourage creatives to, and first of all, understand your shortcoming, because there's a solution. There's always a solution.
You said creatives get inspiration from chaos. That's why they're not organized. Where do you draw your inspiration? The process of you writing a piece?
The chaos of life, to be honest, because before I could write well, I used to have to depend on other people's vulnerability and emotions to inform my writing. It took a journey of even a couple of years to learn how to write vulnerably and sincerely. So in trying to find someone else's vulnerability in order to create, I got creative, by the way, like from movies, my friends' relationships, my friends' life experiences, my expectations of life compared to other people's, outcomes, say people who have the same expectations as me, and, just watching their lives and whatnot. And that constant studying, that constant analyzing, that constant creating from someone else's head, it actually built me. It actually did so much for me than I expected. So these days I get inspiration from everything. From everything. Boda guy driving in the wrong lane, your beautiful earrings. Oh, cards, I like it. So, stuff like that, because there's an experience for everything. Like you're wearing earrings, I could write about how you're feeling an ace today. I could write about the things that make Magrietta an ace, from the earrings to her skin, glowing skin. How you doing? Like those small things. So inspiration, you're blushing, don't do it. Inspiration is all around us. And the truth is, the reason I said chaos is because artists' real gem is the laser focus in the chaos. You will be in the middle of chaos and create something so beautiful, like so beautiful. I'll give you an example. Blackout poetry.
Yeah.
It's a genre of found poetry. Like someone else's words, you create new poetry. In blackout poetry, you get, like, say, a text from maybe one of your favorite books. Let's say Gulliver's Travels. A random page from Gulliver's Travels, and you write a love poem from this guy's problems. Like we are able to take chaos, laser focus, and just create beauty.
Creatives and discipline. When you say creatives you need to laser focus,
yes.
How long does it take you to focus? There are deadlines, and a creative will tell you, I don't have the inspiration. I've not found the inspiration yet. Yet there are deadlines to hit. How do you creatives deal with discipline?
That's a hard one, because discipline and creation are, for human beings, for God, discipline and creation are the same thing. For human beings, we're still falling short on the discipline part, especially if you are a creator, because I think all of us are creators. It's just that when you amplify your creativity, you operate different from normal human beings who are not creatives. And discipline in that regard, sometimes you miss a hunch, you miss intuitive writing, you miss intuitive cues. Discipline can really, I guess, exclude you from your core of good creation, right? Unfortunately, because discipline is order, discipline is opposite of chaos and whatnot. But poets and creatives, and I say poets especially, because we need to understand that the work we do is a job. So if you take a contract to write on a topic, and you tell them, I will have it ready by next Tuesday. It is Saturday. My friend, have it ready by next Tuesday, because the lies you have told, we are seeing. You need to sign contracts that give you enough time to go through your creative block, that give you enough time to go through your indecisiveness, that give you enough time to create a laser focus in chaos, because most of us will take on jobs that are so immediate that the pressure doesn't allow us to create. So I would say make better decisions, and make decisions like you are running a business, not like you are just just a hobby. And to be honest, the deadlines thing, I feel, is because mostly we operate like what we're doing is a hobby. Because even without inspiration, I'm a very spiritual person. I understand what pressure does in the spirit world. So in, like, say, the spirit world, okay, my deadline is tomorrow. I still have it written. If I sit now, say a prayer, maybe even do my meditation, and then sit for a good 10 hours, I will write some of the most beautiful things, because spiritually, all the attention now has been directed towards creation. And those are some of the things that creatives need to learn. You need to learn to be able to tap into those spaces that allow you to write immediately. You can do it. Sometimes it's a spiritual path. Sometimes you need to create like a queue. Like you can create a queue. Maybe every time you enter a particular restaurant, words just come flowing. Find that restaurant for you. Maybe every time you take a walk, words just find that for you. So for me, spiritually, if I'm on pressure, I will step back, breathe, and then the gods will work with me. If you're not on pressure, find your thing. Find your thing.
Most creatives don't believe in God. And when Maritza says, she says that gods, not God, that gods will find me.
Yes, I said
Why don't creatives believe in God?
Man, I think we're broken, because God is creator. You cannot create without God. And I know there's a lot of people who tell themselves stories. It's all me, it's all me. No, Bambi. I think the God you're imagining maybe sits on a throne and you want him to come and sit there in the room with you so that you know that it's him. Everything you create.
They ask, if there is a God, then why do bad things happen?
Oh, that's the first misunderstanding. Yeah. The first misunderstanding is that God didn't say bad things wouldn't happen. Because when you read a lot of the books that talk the God story, I'm talking the Bible, the Quran, I don't know how many books the Buddhists have, it's really just the story of God. And one of the things that's most consistent in a lot of those books is the law. The law is the same for everybody. And I remember in church, there was this controversy for a while about how people are abandoning the Old Testament and only focusing on the New Testament and whatnot. And over time, we actually learned, anyway, me, because I was very invested, I've grown up in church, but the church wasn't giving me the spiritual experience I needed. So I had to look outside the church. Then even went back to church and found things were worse. So I had to leave the church again. So I wouldn't say that creatives don't believe in God. I think creatives haven't found their God, so they're here masquerading that they don't believe in God.
Or is it this thing they said that when you become so wise, you reach a level and then you just go mad. They because they're creatives, they try to create a world, a creator above the creator.
Above the creator. But that's impossible to do. So they are playing themselves. And the funny thing is, whoever is fueling that creative is the creator. So what I was saying about these books teaching the law and, the Old Testament and the New Testament, I remember one of the things that helped me reconcile that very much was understanding what Jesus came to do. So Jesus came to teach us that it is important to know the law in order to live under grace. Okay. So when people...
What is the law?
The law is, the 10 Commandments, do unto others as you do unto yourself. Basically, what you do, what you believe in and what you do, you are reflecting for yourself.
And there is a meme that goes that of the 10 Commandments, the only one you haven't taken is don't murder.
Don't murder. Are you sure? We have killed people in our heads, and Jesus said that if you have done it in your head, you have done it. It is finished.
In thought.
But in thought, what they're failing to understand is in thought is just as bad as in real life.
So all the 10 Commandments are broken.
All the 10. By the way, there are more than 10 commandments. That's the thing. There are many commandments. So the law is really what you do unto others, or what you believe is what you're essentially doing unto yourself. So any thought you have about somebody else, you're opening that door for yourself. Any action you do to somebody else, you're opening that door for yourself. And karma is real. Karma is not all good, all bad. Karma doesn't know good and bad. Karma knows reflecting what you do. Does that make sense? So, when people say, if there's a God, why do bad things happen? The reason there's a God is to get you through those bad things so that you get to a side where you stop suffering those bad things. Because suffering is a choice. Pain isn't, but suffering is a choice. So human beings face pain and then we dwell on that pain instead of now, I guess, turning to God, because turning to God is, finding love, finding kindness and forgiveness for yourself, and also understanding that you as a human being, you're not God. So you're going to, for lack of, pardon my French, F up severely. So giving yourself grace is part of like having a God conversation, Forgiving yourself is having a God conversation. So I think creatives just haven't understood or found their relationship with God, because everyone's supposed to have a different relationship with God. Contrary to popular belief, we shall not have the same relationship with our God as individuals. And I believe that the more we explore creativity, the more we find God, because God is our intuition. God is my creator. God is, what even we as human beings have created to support us in this life. There is only God. There's only God.
At some point, you lost me.
Hey,
and
sorry.
Your one.
There is only God. That's the end point.
The God we believe in, that,
yes.
What do they say? Jesus, Son of God.
Son of God.
God is the God
now,
we talk about.
Jesus Christ is still God, because Jesus Christ came to tell us that despite all these things that happen, despite the law and whatnot, you can live under grace. And Jesus Christ is a representative of that grace. So
have a whole episode
Yes.
for this.
No. First of all, this is
Maritza again.
This is why I express this like this, because I want to encourage people to find their God. You know what I mean? Because my relationship with God can be as intense as Hajat's relationship with God, and we can both be on the same God level. But the way she deals with her God is very different, because I'm not going to wake up 5 times and pray. I might even not pray for the next 2 days, but I'm constantly having you get what I mean? So you need to find your relationship with God. That's really it.
You said creatives don't create more in chaos. Discipline somehow limits creatives. How do you deal with, because creatives face burnouts? First of all, how do you manage your time? You're a media personality, you do poetry,
Yes.
you do a bit of this and that. You're in creative spaces.
Around.
Yeah, you're in spaces. We meet in spaces. How do you manage your time? How do you balance creating in different spheres?
I'm glad you've asked me this 1 year later, because when I was on radio, I created a schedule. I was able to manage my time. I'm very strict on my rest days. I'm extremely strict on my rest days. Monday is a rest day for me. Even when I was on air, I would leave radio by 10:30 a.m. I have left your premises, and you're not going to see me or hear from me again until Tuesday. So if there's anything you needed to tell me that Monday, tell it to me before I leave. So I'm very strict about my rest days, and that was still when I had an extremely busy schedule. But now, what I didn't know is that being a creative is worse than a 9 to 5 if you're a creative full time. So I would like to say that I am not managing. Yeah, time is managing me at this point.
How do you try to cope in times when you have deadlines to hit?
So what I do is I give myself a lot of grace. I am very willing to let money go than to put myself in a position where I might not be able to deliver, or I might deliver something I'll be ashamed of. Because I can deliver for you today, by the way. I can deliver. Words will come, but it won't be Maritza quality. It won't be like the best work. So I'm very comfortable turning down jobs if they fall, say, in a busy time frame or a busy schedule. There's actually a job I have to turn down tomorrow. Kumbe, they have even already promised me money, but I'm like, time frame, time frame, work with my time frame. So stuff like that. That's only because I believe in Psalm 23, where the Bible says, "My cup overfloweth. If this one floweth past me, it's another one will come back," So I just have to trust that I'm still taken care of, even though I pass up money. Another way is trying to be very strict on my rest days. Monday these days, I will work, but I won't set any meetings. And I'll make sure if I'm working, it's on one project. Because Tuesday to Sunday, there are like 5 projects in the same day. And like I have one rest day, imagine. So I'm constantly working now. It's just that I've put those 2 things. Number 1, my rest day is my rest day. Number 2, do not be ashamed to turn down work. It's okay.
In the creative industry and having a lot to do, you reach times when you're burnt out.
Yes.
You reach burnouts. How do you deal with burnouts to know that, okay, this is enough? Now I need to work on how I get back.
The first real experience of a burnout, I think, was in 2021. At the time, I was doing 2 podcasts that were consistent. I was working with Paint and Sip Uganda, and we were just building the business. I was on radio. I think I had also started emceeing as well, so I was occasionally emceeing. And by September 2021, my body was like, "You're joking." And I had a public anxiety attack, like in the people at one of our shows. Like we were having a Paint and Sip show, the biggest show we'd had, and I had a public anxiety attack. So dealing with burnout is, don't reach burnout. Create systems. And since 2021, I have created systems where that burnout does not happen. So I will have moments where I'm like, but I'm tired. Then I'll know, like
it.
Exactly. So on Sunday, if I have work to do on Sunday, be done by 2 p.m. If I have this to do, maybe on a day close to my rest day, how can I extend the rest to before the rest day, So create systems that don't allow you to burn out. Because the truth is, once you've burn out, you're now digging yourself out of a hole without any tools because you're burnt out. What tools are you using to dig yourself out of that hole? So burnout is one of those things that is a terrible experience. And honestly, at the time, the only way I got over it was I dropped all the balls. You know how they say ducks in a row? What they don't understand is the row is actually quarreling. It's not row as in line, as in bali mukulwana. So my ducks were in an argument and they fought and they killed each other. So I dropped everything. So between 2021 and 2022, maybe around August, I was only doing radio. Only, not even spoken. Yeah, I did a bit of spoken word, but those were contract easy jobs. But only doing radio.
How do you know when to come back? You've taken a sabbatical. How do you know that now the rest is enough? I've had enough rest. Now, if I exit this, I'm just leading to my downfall. When do you know that I've had enough rest? Now I need to get back.
Now, this is where you need a God. Intuition. As a creative, and I'm not going to say this if you're not a creative, because I know people are not creative. It's usually mathematics. You want 1 + 1 to add to 2 or 3, things to be clear and to make sense. But when it comes to something like burnout for creatives, because you're creating from your source, from your core, which is really your spirit, which is really what God has weaved together to make you as magnificent as you are, that's a lot that's a very sensitive place to dig from. So when your intuition lets you know that you're ready, you will feel ready. If your intuition doesn't let you know, then listen to the cues around you, because do not start until you know for a fact. Like how you see your mother and you know she's your mother?
Yeah.
It's not up for discussion. So your intuition needs to get to a place where it is not up for discussion between your thoughts, between your heart, between your creative source, that you're ready. It is as clear as day. It's like seeing your son and knowing, yeah, that's my child. It's not something you negotiate. So that's why I'm saying you might need a God, because now either your intuition will let you know, or communications from your surroundings or your life will let you know and awaken you. So, yeah.
How do we, now we've known this is the time, how do we recover from burnouts to get ourselves back to the level we were at?
First of all, usually burnouts come with burnt bridges.
Yeah.
So go back and...
Because the world is not going to wait for you.
No. So you have to now go back and unburn those bridges. If they were in ashes, start building brick by brick and fix those bridges. That is the best way to recover from burnout, because Ugandans are actually very understanding people, they really are. And there's been a lot of creatives who've had really bad downfalls, to the point that you even lose people's money. You're in trouble, basically. You're in a lot of trouble. But then the reason this trouble came about is because of burnout. So people can forgive you. So start by fixing the bridges that you burned, and then also allow yourself to start small, because it's not that you're going to stay small. You probably start small on your first project, and your first project will be you wetting your feet and you're ready to swim. Deep end even. Go to Bunyonyi if you want, you just need to now, where did I leave off and how do I do better from where I left off? Because the burnout is part of the lesson.
So to be a creative, humility has to be a part of you.
Well, that's a hard one to ask.
Because you have to go back. If I had given you work,
yes,
and then you took rest in that month,
yes,
we left off bad.
Yes,
you have to be.
Humility is for every human being, but I must say, for creatives, it's much harder. It's much, much harder, but it is encouraged, please.
You see, creatives don't have discipline, don't have humility. Which qualities I like about a creative, about their apart from their work?
Yeah.
Which qualities? Which person? What they call it? The characteristics, traits, personality traits.
Personality traits.
From creatives.
Creatives are a good time. We're vibe. We're a vibe. We're a good time, and I think we take for granted how important being a vibe is, because when the vibe is normal, you don't notice that you need more or that it could be less. So you're just stagnant. But when you're around creatives, you notice the difference in an elevated vibe, especially if it's creatives you like being around. Also, stop being around people that drain your energy. I think we need to make decisions like that for ourselves as creatives. So, creatives are a vibe. Creatives love to explore life in ways that, people who aren't creative won't explore. I think being a creative also gives you enough room to be dangerous. Danger is attractive.
You said when you come from burnout, you burn some bridges on the way to your rest. How do we build these bridges if you don't have humility, like to recognize I made a mistake here, I need to go back and make clarity on this, or apologize, or see if you can mend this. How do you do it if you don't have the humility?
So there's a quote I like, and it's from a movie, and it's we can either do this the easy way or the hard way. And that's really life's many movies. This one is one particular movie I'm thinking about, but I don't even remember the title. But they say it a lot, right? You either do this the easy way or the hard way.
Pull out the gun.
That's life, by the way. Life will pull out a gun on you. So that's really the script of life. So sometimes that burnout is to teach you a lesson on humility. Sometimes the only way out of your burnout is to first learn humility. So basically, what that is, like for me, like my perception of that is you need to get this thing in order to move forward in your career. So the circumstances that teach you this thing, they will present themselves. Or you can learn humility before the circumstances present themselves.
Is there a time, any of the stories that have come out, or clips that have come out, or blogs that have come out, that someone said something that hurt you so much, and it was hard to forgive them as much as you can easily let go?
No, not a single time. There's a time, not even that they're not that important, it's that I don't know how to let people tell me how to feel, So you can write the most hateful hate piece about me, but it will be hard for me to be mad at you, because to be mad at you, I have to allow you to make me feel annoyed. I don't know how to give people permission to influence how I feel. So a lot of the time, I won't even be offended. I'll read it and be like, go kubienyo,
That is some mental health maturity,
but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work and spirituality, I grew up kind. That's the only thing I really had. But then I was also very fiery. You come at me, I come at you worse, because I am equipped to come at you worse. But then I learned the power of my revenge and how much worse I would get people back. Then I learned to have grace. Also, the Bible helps. The Bible helps a lot. When you have a deep understanding of people, you give them grace. You just know that this person, the God in him, has not yet awakened. Give them time. Give them time.
A word to the youth there, because now social media is our life. We build careers, we build images, everything. Like without social media, we don't think we are there. A word of hope and inspiration to the people, especially the people who use social media.
First of all, the people on social media are not your friends. They are profiles, They are words on a screen, characters, because many of us are not being 100% who we are in real life on social media. And I think we need to learn to take it as that, and even take advantage of it. If you're an accountant and you don't want people to be in your life, create a persona online where you can exist, where you can express yourself. So my advice to people is to understand that social media is just a place for people to express versions of themselves. It's not their entirety of who they are. So when you take someone's opinion and dwell on it and let that person's opinion inform how you move, inform how your day goes, you are putting them on a pedestal. Like there's a part in the Bible that says, do not serve other gods. You're actually serving another God, because now you're saying, you are the author of my life, you are the author of my feelings. So give people online the benefit of doubt that that's not who they really are. And the truth of the matter is, many of the times, that's not who they are. It is a version. It's like being in a video game. You create a character, you dress them up nicely, you make them look the way you want them to look, but that person's not you. It's still a video game.
Actually, I was talking to Amon when he told me that the guest we have is Maritza, And I'm giving him some of the reviews, and he's like, but those are people's opinion. It's not hers. When you ask her and she tells you that, then we'll take that.
Yeah.
So now you've reminded me of that.
Yeah. So also, like just take things with a grain of salt. Do not attach your whole life and feelings to what's happening online. And I know we look to online for validation a lot, but then that says a lot also about who you are as a person. Start to look for validation in places that matter. Start to look for fulfillment in your friends. If you're just you and your partner, it means there's certain things your partner cannot fulfill for you. So go outside of your partner, have a group of friends, have, an activity that you do, because we put so much pressure on the people immediately close to us to fulfill everything in our lives, but they don't have the power to. So when we do that and then go on social media and we're like, okay, now you fill my cup of wellness, you fill my cup of hope, it is not social media's responsibility. So go outside of social media, find the things, find the people, find other ways you can make your life more fulfilling.
And to close the show, like your to recite for us one of your favorite pieces.
Ooh, my favorite pieces. Okay, if it's my favorite pieces, I can do that. One of my favorite pieces is, I wrote this for Ugandans. It's like a little love letter to Ugandans, but but the way I tell the story is like expressing myself as a Ugandan. So that's really how I wrote this. This is called The Ugandan. You can stream it. It's on The Myth, the rapper, his album. It was the intro to his album. Yeah, the album is actually called The Ugandan.
So the poem is also called The Ugandan.
Yes, the poem is also called The Ugandan. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And I hope you're blessed by it if you're Ugandan. I look just like her, a glistening rare beauty, a gem to make a wish on, a pearl. She fights to be queen, but honey is a god. Smite thee, non-believer, with that power, mountain power, flow that river power, minerals and healing power. Still take a beating, but get back up and feed your people power. Lay us by the shore where we watch the gods and hope for favor, hope for flavor as we walk in that UG spirit. She'll bust it open and rain wrath, hot or cold, but find us Sandeku Beach, 'cause we won't stop. Dusk till dawn, it's a party while we soldier on. So salute me in the name of we go to Pana, a hard guy, floored and cast out by a wicked bait. Man down. Sunrise, hustle, repeat. Like clockwork, spring me into the traits of my DNA, of Katogo for the hangover, chicken and chips date nights, and string beads that hold down my waistline, selling dreams to the thirst of that almost bay. Wrap my dreams in banana leaves so that they stay warm and make me break a sweat for just a taste. Go everywhere and do anything just to make it back home. So frame the roadmap that leads me home and paint me shades of milk and honey, every stroke on every curve to sink in my hips of melanin. Put me on the pedestal right next to the brown because I'm sun-kissed, baby. I wear the melanin crown. When I do it for the gram, great light, perfect pose, face right, but real quick turned into a kamim. It's fine. Catch me riding that Twitter fame, first class, no kameme, but I'm that boho chick, but I'm still that yuga chick, at crossroads with miles to grow, but I'll still look left and look right, though my style will just go one way. She'll have you clap and bust a move, gutted by muchomo and beer, so salute me in Mbahi, Akiranyo, Mujebari.
Nothing to add on that. Thank you for tuning in. Tune in next time. Do not forget to subscribe, recommend a friend. It's been Maritza. Blessed to have her on the show. Hosted by Marcus. Enjoy the rest of your day.